very short story of the backdrop was about a year and a half ago, a little over a year and a half ago, I decided that I was going to grow food for my family. Just with the state of everything going on, I was like, dude, it's just time to like get back to grassroots and what actually matters. And as a man, you want to provide. And I was like, okay, well, you need to put food on the table. So let's start with putting food on the table. You know what I mean? Instead of doing this thing over there and then coming back and buying the food, it's like, why don't we get the actual food? Wow. Right? So that was the aha moment of like, go directly to the source, right? So anyways, I share that because that's really what inspired me to get started on all of this. But just had clarity around what we're doing, right? And then through that process of the last year and a half, there's been so many things that have happened, but I think just understanding when you look at the state of our economy today and what it looks like, the obvious answer and the solution, at least to some degree, to almost everything going on is to grow food. Hands down.
Hands down, man. Yeah, thanks for sharing that too, because I had that aha moment too, like, hey, let's go right to source and actually get the food and put the food on the table. That's amazing, man. And yeah, and maybe we should talk about that, like the economy. You brought that up, like how does that play a part? Because I really do feel like, and you probably agree with me here, what is your take, like that we don't have a lot of independence on where we're getting our sustenance as like an American people, you know?
Yeah. I would say, man, this is where the passion comes out for sure. It's if you look at everything that's going on in the world, I really feel that growing food is a solution or a contributing solution to every single thing. Dude, period. Deforestation, land preservation, restoration, the lack of local access to food, poisons in the system, the lack of vine ripened food, the lack of seasonal food,
the lack of nutrients out there available,
our dependency on petroleum-based fuels and stuff being picked thousands of miles away to be sent to us, right? Layered in poisons, not vine ripened.
If those aren't enough reasons, man.
Right? Inflation of the dollar. Like when you go to the grocery store, you have to pay for this food based on what somebody is selling it for, because they can sell it for that much, right? But if you start growing food down the street, you're negating inflation. You don't even have to, it's not even a factor. It's not a part of it, right? You talk about world hunger. You talk about wars, which is all over land and fighting, right? Well, if we're all sharing the land and we're sharing the profits of it, there's no wars, right? Because we're not fighting over the land, right? So if you look at the conditions of our world today, the obvious answer is to grow food, is to solve all those things. You can even get into human trafficking. I have a really good friend of mine, I'll keep her name private for the sake of her own thing, but she was talking about a family that was going to sell one of their kids so that they could get money to buy food for the rest of the family. So again, I'm not saying growing food is the solution to all of it, but does it contribute to it? Absolutely, right? So if you look at all the conditions of our world today, growing food is a solution to it, right? But if you removed all of the conditions of our world today and you just looked at what is a healthy human, what is a healthy species, right? From mind, body, and spirit, we already know eating the right food is going to be healthy for the body. And if we look at the body, the mind, and the spirit, then the healthiest thing that we can do for the mind and the spirit is to have the body be at full capacity, right? For that pillar to be as strong as it can be. So that means we need to grow food and we need to eat the right stuff, right? But you talk about the mental aspect of gardening and farming, and you're getting out into the field. Mentally, we have a sense of accomplishment. We have a sense of achievement. You can go out there for an hour or a week, and when you're gardening, you see a transformation. You see that you've made an impact. So we have a sense of contribution, right? And then spiritually speaking, bro, if you go put some food on your table, whether you picked it from your yard or from the grocery store, and you turn this into a meal and you eat it, what's more spiritual than that?
Yeah, it really is.
So on every front, whether you look at the conditions of the world or you look at the unconditioned state of the world,
right?
Both sides of it, from a holistic perspective, the most logical, obvious, productive, harmonious, compassionate, loving thing that we can do is grow food.
We're in the garden. It's existential.